Welcome to the Gyms podcast. I'm your host, Joel Kleber, and this podcast is designed to share stories of our franchisees, franchisors, Jim himself, and other members of the Gyms family that we think you might find interesting. If you are researching our brand, we've got a previous back catalogue. There's so many great episodes that you can find online. If you do like what you hear, please make sure you leave us a thumbs up on YouTube if you're watching, or online as well. We really do appreciate the support. Without further ado, here's today's episode. So Craig, thank you for joining us today on the Gyms podcast. And first of all, we want to congratulate you with the Accor voucher, which is a great new initiative from Gyms Group where you basically get 2 free nights at any Accor hotel in the world. So, and plus a bunch of other discounts for being a star franchisee. I think you're at 75-star ratings already. You've only been with us since the September last year. You came at National. So you've hit the ground running. So maybe let's just talk about your journey and how's it been so far?
Yeah, so the first month, 6 weeks, pretty rough. Bought a territory with no customers, so was pretty daunting, not knowing whether it was going to be successful or not. And then pretty much after that, I hit the ground running and I haven't stopped. So it's been great.
So you bought a new territory, so no customers, you had to build it up yourself, which, as you said, can be very scary. So maybe how did you get through that period, or what did you do to build your business?
So I basically went out, visited the real estate, got quite a few leads in, initially being the main part of the start of summer. Leads were coming in pretty thick and fast. And so I was really focused on great customer service. From that, I got a lot of referrals as well. So yeah, it worked well. So, and I've continued to visit the real estate. So I've done one pop-up stand a few weeks ago at one of my local shopping centres. I've got another one next Friday at another brand new shopping centre. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes.
That's great. How's your business been overall up until this point?
Yeah, so I turned over just over 120,000 since I started.
That's fantastic.
So I'd probably take away the first 6 weeks, which were pretty quiet, but since then it's I'm over 120,000 already.
That's great. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, far exceeded what I was expecting. When I look back at my notes in my training with my franchisor, and one of the things that I was asked was what my forecast was. I think I actually said 60,000.
Wow.
In my first year. So to double that's pretty phenomenal.
It's fantastic. And you haven't been gone for a full 12 months and you've been able to hit that mark.
Yeah, that's it. And great support from my franchisor and other franchisees. And I've even bought an employee, my stepson. He works with me and he does all my installs and all my chemistry, and I focus on the sales and the customer service side of it.
That's awesome. And your franchisor is Jason Polly?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. And your brother's also a franchisor, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So your brother's, you got 2 TikTok stars as your one TikTok star as your franchisor and one as your brother as well.
Yeah, 100%. So if I fail, it's pretty much down to me.
Yeah.
And my book's failing's not an option.
That's awesome. And for the people that don't know, your franchisor Jason goes as the Aussie pool guy on TikTok. He's got a couple 100,000 followers, and your brother Brad does a great job. I think he's Pool Crew AU.
So yes, that's correct.
So when are you going to join him for some videos, or have you started doing some videos?
Not yet. Not quite up to speed on that stuff yet, but I would imagine it won't be too far away.
Yeah, no, they do a great job. But let's talk about the support then, because the first 6 weeks, it's great to say that you had a new territory. It wasn't the easiest for you. So you've talked about stuff that you've done yourself individually, which is fantastic. So because it can be quite easy to get, you've come from this employment for this so long, and then all of a sudden you haven't got that regular money coming in. So what support did your franchisor provide to you in that period?
A lot of moral support, particularly the first 6 weeks, and I was in a pretty dark spot. Reached out to Jason and to Brad. Yeah, there'd been a wealth of support. Jason's even been on site with me to do my first massive big install was it was a pump filter and chlorinator. A bit of an awkward situation because of the slope of the backyard where the pool was located, and because of my muscle wasting disease, I've got my leg. Jason offered to come up and give me a hand. He was pretty much there all day.
Thank you for sharing that rawness and realness, and I presume that's what a lot of people would probably might feel sometimes with this sort of thing. So after the 6 weeks, you started getting some regular clients and stuff. So how did you keep chipping away at it and keep going? What did you do? And how did you build your confidence in the business?
So it was just my stepson has done a preemptive email for my Google reviews. So I currently sit at 35 Google reviews.
That's awesome. Good to hear.
And all the reviews were 5-star. That sort of uplifted me, seeing the reviews and knowing people appreciated the work, because I get in, I do my job, I don't sell customers stuff that I don't need. My pricing, I'm still sort of working on getting my pricing sorted, but I think my pricing is pretty comparable to a few of the other franchisees in the area. So yeah, that sort of helped. And I constantly was chatting to a few of the other franchisees going, what are you selling this for? What are you selling that for? And and just trying to keep my pricing sort of pretty similar to what theirs is.
Yep. I'm glad to hear it's going well. It's going well now. And as I said, thanks for sharing that and really raw. And I presume a lot of people will empathize with you because they might have experienced the same sort of thing. Because you were in a career for a long time before, weren't you? In retail, weren't you?
Yeah, 30 years in retail and then 5 years as a support worker. So I had no previous industry experience in pool care, apart from having a pool when I was a kid, but my dad pretty much took care of all that. So I didn't see the chemistry side of it, and just the click of a finger and the pool was looking good. So, but yeah, there's a lot more to being a pool care technician. And I think my stepson and I have done over 50 green pools already.
Wow.
Some have been pretty horrendous where you literally cannot see the bottom of the pool, let alone see the sides of the pool. And to get them back to swimmable condition is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I love the green pool rescues. I love watching your brother and Jason do them as well. They're really great to see. How do customers let it get to that point of view? Is it just something where they just neglect the pool, or they're rinsing it, or how do they get to that stage?
Yeah, probably the last one that we did took us 3 weeks. It was a bit of a sad situation, actually. The woman that I was dealing with was the stepdaughter of her stepdad, and I think he may be on the early stages of Alzheimer's. Right. I was previously looking after the pool, and it just got too much. And so when she came in and sent the lead through to the call centre, we went and had a look, and I couldn't even find where the pool was to start with. It had all this green moss all over the top of it. So it just looked like grass on top of it. And so I was a bit skeptical in taking on the role, and we ended up having to quote her a whole new system as well, because the stuff had gone right through her filter, chlorinator and pump. And so we dealt with the green pool recovery first, and then put a whole new system in after that. And to see what it looks like today is phenomenal.
And what about the training? Because you're really involved in the training. I remember you going around everyone getting to sign their books, and you're really, really attentive. And you obviously have the pool care training as well. So maybe you want to talk about, you come from a completely unrelated industry, becoming a pool care technician, and how that training, how it was for you.
Yeah, well, when I first went down to Moorooka, I had no idea what I was in for, and wasn't until the day I walked out, I went, wow, like there was so much information, like your brain literally goes to mush trying to process it all.
It does.
And then meeting the likes of Dan Cale and John Gobick and Jim and yourself and a few of the other staff around on site. Yeah, it was just phenomenal, the amount of training that and how intense it was. And I think that's proved a lot in my journey up until now, because I've actually relied on a lot of what I was taught in those 3 days to get me to where I am now.
Okay, well, what was something maybe to share with people? What did you rely upon or draw upon back in those 3 days? Was there any sort of tips from Dan maybe, or what did you take away and apply to your business?
I think it was, even though you get leads come through the call center, as a franchisee, you're responsible for growing your own business. How quick or how slow you want to grow your own business is entirely up to you. But you've got to put the effort in to get the results. And I think that's sort of proven successful so far with turning over 120,000 in 8 months. My goal by the end of next summer is 250,000.
Wow.
And I have no doubt that I'll hit that target.
I don't no doubt it either, and that's a fantastic achievement. And let's educate some people about the pool care division. So do you want to talk about your services? And it's not just pool care as well. The name is Pool Care and Mobile Shops. So do you want to run through what type of services you do for customers and what you're providing to them?
I offer regular service packages. I have 3 different types. So I have a test and balance, a mid-service, and a full service. We also have a casual call-out, so you one-off customers. And then we do equipment inspections, pre-purchase inspections. I've done a couple of them. Pool handovers.
I didn't know that. Pool handovers you do. So that's the first time I'm hearing this. Okay.
Yeah, so new homeowners, I've done quite a few pool handovers.
Okay.
People go in and they see a house and they might have some young kids, and as soon as the kids see the pool, Mum, Dad, we've got to buy this house, it's got a pool. And they sort of get sucked in because the kids that are doing the attraction, and they've never had, like the homeowners have never had a pool before, so they literally don't know the first thing about owning a pool or maintaining a pool. So it's then up to us to go in and give them the right tools to be able to maintain a pool properly. Once I've met with them and given them a few verbal ideas, I've got a PDF that my brother sent me ages ago. So I send the PDF out to the customer in an email, and it gives that basic guide of pool maintenance.
That's great. And let's talk about one of the tools you give them is the robots. So maybe you want to talk about a bit about the robots and about the benefits to someone having one of those.
So with the robots, what we do is, or what I do is, I offer my customers a demonstration. So I'll drop a robot in a pool, particularly if you've got an area that's quite leafy. You'll definitely benefit from having a really good robot cleaner. It'll actually suck up all the leaves. The one I'm tending to steer towards now is the Active X6. It has a dual motor, and it has active advanced roller brushes in the front and back, which climb the sides and climb the stairs. And so it literally, it's a one-stop vacuum shop. So I've sold 5 robots already in 8 months. So the idea is, once your robot does the cycle, you really need to take it out of the pool, store it in your caddy, particularly if it's not a lot of shade. Try and keep it out of the sunlight so it doesn't deteriorate. If you leave it in the pool too long, or after its cycle, you can actually void its warranty.
Okay. And thing that people don't maybe know about you guys is the pool shop side of it, where not only can you do the service, but you can provide them with a bunch of different things they need for their pool, which they can get far cheaper from you guys, as opposed to the shop directly. So maybe you want to talk about how do you integrate that with your customer service?
So when I go on site, the first thing I do is I scan the pool deck, things like CPR signs, deck lids, skimmer baskets, pump baskets. If anything looks worn or cracked, I just have a conversation with the customer and say, "Hey, notice your skimmer basket is cracked. How about I jump in and order you a new one? I'll have a look in my shed first. If I've got one in my shed, if I haven't, I'll go and order you a new one. And as soon as it arrives, I'll drop it in." CPR signs are mandatory in all pools. So that's the first thing that I sort of look for, is a CPR sign when I'm going to a brand new job. So if they don't have that and council come and do a compliance check, you're pretty much done for if you haven't got a CPR sign.
I didn't know that, and I think that's something that people should know. So is that in just New South Wales, or is that all over Australia? Or?
No, it's all Australia-wide.
Okay, so every Australian pool has to have a CPR sign on there, or the council can come around and fine them.
mandatory. Yeah.
Right. Okay. There you go. Take notice, people. I don't think many people might not know that, so that's good to hear.
And particularly if you've got kids, we don't do pool fencing as such, but I will constantly go around and have a look at pool fencing as well. And I know in my area there's 3 gyms fencing franchisees, so I will quite often refer the customers to the gyms fencing. Say, look, give 131546 a call, ask for gyms fencing, and someone will get in touch with you.
That's great. And now, do I tell people, like a lot of the times, like if you're looking to do a business, people with gyms like mowing or fencing or something first, right? They don't maybe not traditionally think of pool care, but do you know, maybe it's a great business from what I can tell, because I interview a lot of pool care guys and they make great money. You're outside, it's a pretty cruisy sort of job, but you got a really good technical side to it too, where you've got to know what you're doing with chemicals, and you've got some technology involved. Like it's got a great mixture of different things. So maybe you want to just talk for people about the ins and outs from why you love it, or maybe some things they might not know about being a pool care technician.
Yeah, so I think initially when I was chatting to my brother, I was originally thinking about going into mowing. Him being a franchisor in pool care, he's like, no. He said, you need to do this because there's a better profit margin in pool care than there is in it. And like I'm not the type of person that is money driven. I'm more focused on customer service. If money is there, it's a bonus. But being outdoors too is a great way of life. You're out in the fresh air, and it's a great work-life balance. Like I get to see my wife a lot more now, which I don't know whether she's quite happy about that. But we get to do a lot more together, particularly on weekends. We get to go and socialise with friends, whereas my previous jobs, that just wasn't even an option.
That's great to hear. So you got the great lifestyle balance now, and maybe to tell for people, what does your typical week look like? How many sort of clients do you get around to, and what do you do in a typical week?
Given it's winter at the moment, it's sort of pretty quiet. I'm doing about 12 jobs a week, sometimes a little bit more, but in summer I could be doing 30 to 40 jobs a week.
In a week, wow.
Within the next 12 months, it'll grow from 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 jobs a week.
Wow. And what's some advice for customers? Because customers that presume they might have a pool, but not know too much about maintenance schedules, or leave it to the last minute and cost themselves a lot more money if you have to come rescue a green pool. So what's the typical type of service intervals that you recommend, or what are you normally advising customers on they should do to help maintain their pool with the assistance of you?
So I recommend, particularly in summer, every 4 weeks to service a pool. If you leave it longer than that, the chemistry balance will go out of whack, because a lot of people are swimming during summer, so you get a lot of body fats and oils and everything else in the pool, and that just can wreak havoc with the chemistry of the pool. The pool can go green pretty quick too, particularly if you had a high amount of rain in summer. It'll push the pH level up. In winter, I still recommend that people try and do at least 4 weeks. I've had people drop back to 6 to 8 weeks because they feel that no one's going to swim during the winter period. I did have one customer recently said to me that he wasn't going to worry about any servicing during winter because he was going to turn his system off. I went, hang on a sec, no, don't turn your system off. Said if you turn your system off, all your pump may seize, your seals will seize, your pool will go green. The cost of recovering a green pool over $100 monthly service is just phenomenal. Like a green pool could start at $400 just for the labour, and that's just the labour. You're looking at probably a couple $100 for chemicals. So for a 3-month period, you're sort of better off to keep your services going.
Now, you've mentioned already a few times before customer service. So what to you is good customer service? What do you do as a franchisee that provides that?
With my customers, I will message my customers the day before I visit. I will then, on the day of the visit, I will send them a message letting them know when I'm on my way. When I get there in the customer's home, I first say, hi, how you going? Anything wrong with the pool? Then if they start talking, that's when I sit and listen, because it's through listening to the customer talk that you find out little things that they may have missed or may not think's a big deal, and you have to sort of point that out that, yeah, you may need, like, it might be a humming noise in a pump. That could be either a blockage in the impeller, it could be bearings or something like that going in the pump. And if you can get onto it quick enough, you may save the customer $900 to $1,000 in a new pump by just going and getting that looked at, and it might cost you $100. Yeah, so it's always good to listen to the customer and let them talk. Be on time. If you say to a customer you're going to be there at a certain time, try and make sure as best you can to get there when you say you're going to get there.
Awesome. And it sounds like it's little basic things, but it's those things that make the difference, isn't it? Like knowing when someone's going to rock up so you can be at home and giving them the courtesy of the message and the day. It's those little things, but they do matter a lot to customers.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing I always remember from my training with Jason was he always spoke about the 1%ers, that little extra effort that you go to at a customer's place makes a whole big difference.
Absolutely.
So, and that's, I've prided myself on the 1%ers even prior to joining gyms, but I'm more focused on that now because it's my business. And if I don't do those 1%ers and I have customers send an email saying, we don't want you back because you didn't do this, then it reflects on how I operate. And yeah, I don't like that at all.
Well, I don't think you get any of those from looking at your star ratings and ratings on the surveys. So your customers are very rapt with you. Is there any advice for people maybe doing what you did, which you left a long-term career to do the franchise? Do you have any advice for them, or what would you say to yourself back in that position?
I know I was really, really hesitant when I first started. People have just got to, I guess, trust their gut feeling, speak to other franchisees, and just pick their brain as to what works for them, and not necessarily take what they say, but pick bits and pieces out of it just so it molds who you are. Yeah, just give it a shot, because seriously, it's the best decision I've made. I'm not going to look back.
Awesome, Craig, to hear that. I'm glad to see Jim's book in the background and the bookshelf. It's not chucked to the bin or anything.
No.
Good to see it on the shelf. So what I want to do, mate, is just I'll just plug this against us, the Core Silver membership that we're going to get to you. Will come to you via email. So just create an account, and you and the partner can do 2 nights anywhere, in Australasia at these hotels, and there's up to 50% of your dining bill. There's percentage of drinks. There's all these benefits to it. So that's our thank you to you for being a star franchisee. And I'm really glad to hear about your success and that you're doing really well and you're loving it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. No, it's really great. I was actually I was on Facebook the other night when you were doing the
I saw that. Yeah.
Q&A with Jim, and I noticed David had put the comment in about he was 56 and he thought he was too old, and I just put in a comment, mate, you're not too old. I'm 52 and I've just started, and like I reckon I've got another 25 years ahead of me.
That's great. We actually had a guy, Jeff Campbell, who started at 79 in mowing. Yeah, and he's loving it. So he's building it's like a big business. So age is just a number. So
yeah, 100%. And I've even contract, because my workload's that busy during summer now. I now contract a Jim's mowing guy to mow my lawn, and
that's good.
I've got a Jim's dog wash to wash my 2 dogs. So yeah, and I'm looking at getting a Jim's car detailing to come and detail my cars.
Oh, you're good, man. Are they doing a good job? That's the main thing.
Yeah, 100%. Johnny, who's doing my dog wash, he's just amazing. And even John, who does my lawn, and his wife, I've got her coming in once a month now to weed my gardens.
No one likes weeding. Get someone else to do it.
Yeah, we just don't get time.
Yeah, for sure.
she's brought the garden up fantastic. So, yeah.
Thank you for listening to the episode of the Gyms podcast. If you want to learn more about the Gyms Group, head to gyms.net or call us on 131 546 Australia or 0800 454 654 New Zealand. And if you did like the episode as well, please make sure you leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a comment on the video as well. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.